Okay, before I get to Impact, a bunch of people have asked me for my thoughts on the Great American Bash, and, well, first of all, I didn't order the Great American Bash, and I had no desire to, but I like to take care of my subscribers, so I watched parts of it on a website, not all of it, but parts of it. And there's other things I want to talk about in this video, so in a sad and pathetic attempt to drive up my channel views, I'm going to post my opinions on the main points of Great American Bash in the comments on my main page after I upload this. So if you're interested, you can go and look for that. Anyway, Impact. Very good Impact this week, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but one of the reasons for this was in fact the debut of the Karen's Angle interview segment. Even though I was giving TNA the benefit of the doubt on this one, I was not looking forward to this at all. But in what was a very pleasant surprise, this thing actually turned out really good. And here are the reasons why. The interview wasn't about Karen, it was about Kaz. Karen asked the questions, Kaz answered them, and that was it. It wasn't another case of, let's make Karen the center of attention again. It was Karen being utilized to make Kaz more interesting, and that was the only time we saw her during the whole show. You know, she wasn't overexposed, she was used exactly the right amount, and the interview itself was really well produced, I thought. It was basically the TNA rough cut, which I'm a big fan of, done in an interview format. And I think this is a good role for Karen, because when she appeared on the show before, she wasn't really doing anything. You were always just sort of wondering, what is her job? Why is she there? You know, this is a role for her that makes sense. Now she has a purpose where she can be used to put the wrestlers over instead of previously where it was the other way around. And if TNA wants to continue on doing this thing, hey, I have no problem with that at all. So, well done, TNA. Next we had the Motor City Machine Guns versus Beer Money in a strap match, and I'm not going to go off on the unnecessary gimmick matches rant again, because the bottom line is, you guys already know what I'm going to say. With that in mind, if you take out that one spot where Jackie was lying on her back in the middle of the circle, flailing around like an upside-down turtle, I actually thought this match was pretty good. Very good, in fact. Definitely exceeded my expectations going in, because it got a lot of time. It was competitive. The Guns were dominant for most of it, so it wasn't a squash, and they got to cut a promo beforehand, which is a big step up from where they've been lately. And with the way things were booked, with LAX coming out at the end, the stage seems to be set to insert the Guns into this feud and put them in the title picture at some point. And if you add this match to how they were booked strongly at Victory Road, I'm cautiously optimistic about the chances of that happening. You know, they just need to be married up with one of the knockouts, and then it would be 3-on-3-on-3. So cross your fingers for that one. Speaking of the knockouts, Taylor Wilde defended the knockouts title against Velvet Sky, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And, wow, poor Velvet. Taylor got put over huge here, but Velvet did not come out of that thing looking too good. As for the beautiful people, I don't know where they're at right now. You had this coming right after Angelina lost to Gail Kim at Victory Road, which I can't help thinking might have been a mistake. I mean, Angelina had been built up enough at that point where the loss really wouldn't have hurt Gail that much, but losing to Gail Kim was kind of a make-or-break point for Angelina. You know, it was like Jeff Hardy losing at the Rumble. It was just a bad time for her character to look weak. So after Victory Road and now this, they pretty much established that neither of the beautiful people can hang with Gail Kim, ODB, Roxy, or Taylor in a one-on-one match. So where they go from here, I have no idea. Anyway, we also had a very good Elimination Tables match as the main event of the show. You know, they continue to put over AJ Styles really strongly in these matches. And 2 segments with Samoa Joe and Booker T bookending the show. I like that they're keeping Sting's role here sort of ambiguous in this angle right now. They're just sort of leaving the question of what his real intentions are out there just to percolate for the time being. You know, it builds intrigue, and it adds another dimension to the Joe Booker feud. And those two have now set up their rematch for Hard Justice. It's going to be 6 sides of steel with some weapons thrown in, probably. And I'm not crazy about that idea, to be honest with you. I mean, it'll be a good match. I just think that having 6 sides of steel when we're not that far removed from lockdown is just the wrong way to go. You know, given the way their Victory Road match was booked, I think a last man standing match would be a better idea, but I don't write the show. Someday. Anyway, those are the main points of Impact. I only have a few little criticisms this week, but they are important ones. First of all, Petey Williams, once again, sat the show out. I guess that one's still a work in progress. Second, the Sanjay Dutt SoCal Val thing. Sanjay continues to do the best with what he's given here, but the way Val is being written right now makes her look very, very not smart. I mean, all she had to do was watch the replay to see what Sanjay did last week, and they did actually point out that she hadn't watched it. They get points for that. But to suggest that nobody would at least tell her what actually happened is just stretching believability way too much. And this is kind of a general criticism about the business that I have, because these kinds of angles happen a lot in pro wrestling, and they always bug me. Because it's like, do these people not know that there are cameras everywhere? Do they not know they're on television? Do they not actually talk to each other on occasion? Now, most of the time, TNA is a lot better about these things than the WWE is, but still, they don't get a pass on this one. Third, the Prince Justice Brotherhood. You know, the only thing I could think of during this segment was that the fallen angel Christopher Daniels could be a main eventer and a world champion. Instead, he's wearing a soup bowl on his head and he's joining a superhero team. Wow. Fourth, and this one is really important. When Christian Cage came out for his match, the announcers were talking about how he got put through a glass table and had his back all sliced up. The problem is he wasn't wearing a shirt or bandages or anything, so it was plain as day that his back wasn't scarred at all. Christian should be wearing a shirt on TV at all times for at least another few weeks to sell an injury like that. Otherwise, it's like it meant nothing. You know, he's completely healed up already, so why even do it? I don't know. Anyway, those were the things I did not like about Impact this week, but in the big picture, those were pretty minor gripes. You know, this was a very good show. Absolutely better than Raw. Catch the replay if you missed it. Talk to you soon. Okay. I've had some requests recently to talk about the rating situation, so I'm going to do that for a minute here. All sugarcoating aside, the Impact ratings have definitely taken a hit lately, and I'm not sure there's necessarily one reason you could pin it on. I mean, obviously basketball was a big factor in some people tuning out, but basketball's over now, and those people have not come back yet, at least not totally. And I don't really understand that, to be honest with you, because Impact in general has been very good for the last month or so especially, and the ratings are not reflecting that. And I suppose there's plenty of things you could blame this on. I mean, you know, a lot of things have been said on here and other places. I mean, obviously there's going to be peaks and valleys in the ratings from time to time, and early this year we were at a peak, and now we're in a valley. But I hope TNA will not get discouraged by this and change formats again and try to, you know, hot shot angles or do ridiculous publicity stunts to try to lure people back. I think TNA is going in a good direction right now, and they just need to stay the course and keep fine-tuning this current format they've been using since Slammiversary. And all markish behavior aside for a second here, the WWE's ratings have been declining for several years now, which means that something about the show that they've been producing is not giving the fans what they want. So I think the TNA needs to continue to focus on things that differentiate them from the WWE, focus on the things that they can offer the fans that the WWE does not. Things like the X Division, the Knockouts, things like their Spin Cycle show. I think the Spin Cycle is a great idea. A weekly online roundtable discussion with the wrestlers to help the fans to get to know them and their personalities and their views and opinions on things. I think it could be executed a little bit better as far as the topics they discuss. I don't really care about what the wrestlers think about rising gas prices or whatever. I think they should stick to topics within the wrestling industry, but the concept of the show itself I think is terrific, so they should definitely keep doing that. And by extension to that, I think TNA should continue to develop more online exclusive content and continue to get the company's name out there and get their stars out there to the internet community. You know, the internet is an incredible asset, and in my opinion, the WWE does not appreciate the internet for the resource that it is, and they don't utilize it as well as they could or as well as they should, and you may think differently about that, and that's fine, but you know, that's what the internet's for, allowing people to voice their opinions, whatever they are.